they basically stuffed us within the tickets. We sat there all morning, going through it all. Did a rehearsal with a pair of monitor speakers that you could have bought at Woolworths, right? And I knew what the score was going to be. It was like, anyway, I walked out, and it was like, I think for England, Paul Gascoigne, he walked out. It was a sea of red and white, right? Just a sea of red and white. And I walked out, and I've never had so much abuse in my life. It was like they were hanging, walking out through it. It was like walking out in the Coliseum. And they're hanging, yeah, blah, blah. And I walked out, and it was just boo, right? And then there was this tiny sliver of tartan and red and yellow and like in the corner, right? And I just focused on them. And then when it came to singing it, and it goes, and then the Tartan Army were ready to beat ahead.
Oh,
no. Beat ahead. And oh no! And I'm trying to pitch the key. I couldn't hear anything at the speaker, and I just looked up at the Prime Minister. And it was like I put as much hatred as I possibly could, and staring at the royal box.
Oh, the royal box.
Right.
Fantastic.
And it got through it, and it was like, and I think that it was actually said on the TV. I went, come on, and they said, there's no need for fish to do that. Trying to goad them on. But yeah, I was man. And the thing was that we stood there, and they were delayed in bringing the teams out, and it was boiling, and I'm wearing a kilt, pellant. I mean, the sun was raking down. And then you saw the teams walk out for like a mile away, right? And they were like walking towards us, and it was like, and it was the guys, they were all coming back, and they were all winking at me. So Andy Gorman and all that was all kind of just settling me down, right?
Oh, nice.
They were putting me down, and I go, knees were shaking.
Oh, that's amazing.
But I mean, you just stand there, and it's suddenly you're on your own singing the song.
Right? I can't hear it and everything.
Yeah, I couldn't. But it was amazing. And it was such a letdown. And I remember coming out of the. After the game, when we went into the other side, it was like, it was just, the whole Scotland team was like, we'll catch them as they were going about, and it was like, it was terrible, it was horrible.
Aye, yeah, no, absolutely. And I know I mentioned about France 98, I love this story though. You couldn't get tickets for Love Number 9 going in, right? But you managed to pull some strings.
With a friend, and he was, I think he was actually the head of the fan club at Paris Saint-Germain, and it was, and he's a huge Scotland fan. And he phoned us up and he said, do you want to come to the game? And I said, well, we're never going to get tickets. And he said, look, if you're up for it, he said, I can get you into the stadium. And I phoned up a couple of other friends and said, look, we can do this. And basically the offer was, we get across to Paris. And I'd been working in France earlier on with this, a guy called Andy Gardner, who was a songwriter. And I got in touch with him, and he said, come and stay with us, right? So anyway, the deal was that if there was I think altogether there was about 20 of us, because Gilles, that was his name. Gilles knew a couple of different people, and he called them up. So we all met in the morning, and basically the gig was arrive at the stadium at, I think it was 7 o'clock in the morning, right? Which we were all kind of like, and we'd been out with the Tartan Army the night before.
Did you go at the bar?
Oh yeah, I was in the bar all night.
Did you go at the famous bar one?
Yeah.
Ulrika Johnson and all that, no?
Yeah, that one. That one.
Wow.
What's it called?
The Old Alliance.
That was it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we were there every night. And of course the night before we had to go down, it was like we were in there until we were very Peely Valley in the morning. And 7 o'clock we're down at the stadium. It was really, really hot. And the tops on and everything like that, and our job was to basically go around and put these coloured placard things on the seats of the stadium, and it was for the when they went, you're okay, and you put it up, and it made everybody in this the
colours.
I can't remember what they're called, but it's like that big mosaic thing that happens at football grounds. Yep. And that was our job.
Thousands of them, right?
Yeah. So, and that's what we had to do. We had to go out and put all these yellows and blues down and all these things down on the seats, right? So
you try to be incognito though. Is this?
Well, yeah. I mean, we had one section to do. There was loads of other people, but there was about 20 Scots that had all got in with these passes, right? That Sheila got for us. And then it kind of got closer to the game, and then after you'd put all the coloured stuff out, then you had to stand there and give out the leaflets that said what you did with all the coloured stuff that you was going to find on your seats.
And
I was
coming in, yeah.
So I'm standing there. I'm standing there at the entrance into the stadium, and there's all these punters coming, all these Scottish fans are coming in going like, "Hey, it's pushing you," and like, got a photograph. And there was these two massive security guards that were standing there, and I'd said, "Can we go in?" "No." Right? I said, "Can we go in?" They said, "No." Right? And then of course we're going like, "All right, man," and they could be, "Oh, fish, you got photographs." And these security guys, "Who is this?"
You're supposed to
how come you know so many people, right? And we're like that, like I've been filming up here, like blah blah blah, right? And it was, and we did this whole. I was going like, and you could hear, and then of course you could hear the teams coming in and all the rest of the national anthems.
Still weren't in though.
And we still weren't allowed in, right? And well, we weren't allowed in, right? And they said no. Said, can we go and stand and watch the game? No. And then it got to, and it was like it just got up to the whistle, and then of course there was the big surge of people because people were hanging about getting burgers and stuff. And I just ducked it and ran in. I was saw it. And we saw the game.
Where did you manage to sit?
We didn't sit anywhere. We had to stand, and we were standing through the whole game inside the entrance stroke exit way. And when we got the penalty, we were it was down there behind the goal. It was brilliant. But again, I was gutted on that game. I mean, again, that could go down in one of the disappointments. Yeah. It was one of those so close moments.
And what's it like when you're watching a big game like that? The world's watching it. Can you feel that inside it? I mean, I know you were trying to get in to see it. You know what I mean? But
no, I think it was just the atmosphere in the stadium. I mean, the other one I was at with the Brazil game, which is another really funny story, was we were playing actually because I was solo. It was the first time I was solo, and this would have been the 1990 World Cup in Italy, right? And because I was solo, I didn't have to deal with the other members of the band. I said to the agent, "Get me down to Italy, right? Just get me into Italy for when the games are, right?" And we were supposed to be down there for the game, and we were playing Sweden, and then it was Sweden, and then Brazil was the final game, I think. And we missed the first one, and we were supposed to be there for the Sweden game, and then the manager got an offer we couldn't refuse for a gig in East Berlin. And then we flew into Genoa on the morning after we'd just beaten Sweden, and it was a couple of great stories about that. We flew into Genoa in the morning, right? And we got to this hotel, and it was called the Strand or something, the Savoy, right? And the receptionist says, "Oh, blah blah blah," says, "There's somebody here that says it was your best friend at school." I hear that all the time. "Oh yeah, he was in my class at school, best friend, right?" So anyway, we kicked about, and that was another night I met up with Jay Crawford and all his mob, right? And then we did the gig, and we're coming back to the hotel, and there was these policemen standing around these two Scots guys, right? And I'm walking up to it, and there he was. It was Jock Campbell, one of my best mates at school, and he'd won. They'd just been robbed by a bunch of street urchins in one of the tunnels in Genoa, right? And they basically put them up against the wall, gone through their pockets. They're like, "Oh, well, you bugger off, you think others." And he'd got to Genoa because he'd won a competition in the back of a Mars bar wrapper, right? And anyway, we went out that night. There's a load of other stories happened about them, but anyway, we ended up. We were doing the gig in Turin, right? And we went out with the promoter after the gig we did in Genoa, because the gig in Genoa was after the Swedish game, which was we were supposed to be doing. And we went out for the meal. We said to the promoter, "You got to let us go." It's like, "This is stupid. You've got us on the same time as the Scotland game." And I said, "If you put us on in the afternoon and put an announcement round the streets, round all the Scottish fans, and just go like blah blah blah, we're in the same. We're doing a gig in a park in the middle of Turin, right?" And I said, "Put an announcement and we'll go on at 5 o'clock." Right? And I said, "It'll be sold out. Guaranteed sold out." Right? And he says, "Oh no, I'm not doing that." I said, "Come on, give me a break." He said, "This is stupid. It's Scotland, Brazil. Nobody's going to want to come at a fish gig when Scotland's playing Brazil, right? And the Italians are going to want to do it, right?" So it was like, and he's going, "Nah." Right? And I was and we got to Turin, and we were doing this gig, and it was a tiny little. It was like a restaurant with a kind of little park thing, or a tiny stage, and it had been very Italian about it all. and they'd managed to not measure the entire stage and the rigging correctly. So they got the stage in, they got the PA in, but they couldn't get the towers up for the roof, right? So there was no roof on the gig, right? And I knew that there was bad weather predicted, right? And I said to the promoter, I said, if one drop of rain falls on that stage, right? I said, this gig's off, right? And I said, there's no way we're going to be playing a gig like with water falling on all the electrics. Forget it, right? And he's gone, it's not raining in Turin, right? It was never raining in Turin, not in today, right? And I'm standing there, and the crew are all loading all the stuff up, and we're all moving the sound check. It's moving in the afternoon. It's about 3-4 in the afternoon. The game's at 8 o'clock at night, and I was like, and all these guys are coming with the feathers and the kilts, and I'm going, oh, Fish, how you doing? You come to the game tonight? You know, I said, I can't go to this gig. You're crazy. You're here, you don't come to the game. No, I can't come to the game tonight. I'll go. And there was about 10, 20 guys, right? And I go, right, and I remember it was like, this is when I became a rain god, right? Because I did this wee dance, and it was like, I went, this kid on Native American rain dance, gig dance, you know? And the skies just went black, right? And the rain absolutely pished down, right? I mean, it was bouncing off the floor, right? And it's like, and the crew just started putting the stuff back in the truck because it was no way we could do the gig. And I remember walking out, and the promoter was sitting there at a wee coffee thing, an outdoor coffee thing, with the rain's coming down, and I just went like that. Right? And we got tickets, and we had to walk all the way to the stadium, and then we got beat 1-0 again. And I remember the rain coming down that night, it was amazing. And then we came back to the thing, and the Italians, the local Turin local government, and it said that there's going to be no alcohol served in the town, because the Scottish fans are going to trouble, because I think the English fans were causing all this crap up the road, right? And they said, oh, we'll switch off, and the Scottish fans were in there, and we're all dancing and stuff. And I remember being in a bar, a hotel bar. It was the only place we could get drinks, and other wee stories at the side. But anyway, I remember the police just said open up all the bars, and they told the bar owners to open up all the bars in the centre, and they opened up, and all the Scottish fans were all sitting. It was just great. And I remember being absolutely pissed, and the bus was waiting to take me to the next gig. And I'm up, and I'm gone by that point, right? I'm just having a great time. And they got me standing on a stool in the middle of this esplanade, and they're like, "Oh, Pish, keys a song, right? I'm best of order, like that." And I'm up there, and it was like, "Oh, Flower," I sung "Flower of Scotland," and it was the most hugely beautiful, drunken, emotional time. And the next thing, it was like the hand was on the collar, and I was waked off, get in that fucking bus. That was me. That was Scotland left Italy, and I left Italy at the same time.
That's brilliant. And you still like Scotland games? You still get excited?
I love it. If I can go. I mean, I would have loved to have been there this year. I mean, I think with being Germany, I would have really loved to have been. We just couldn't get
Germany's
over.
Been big for you, though, isn't it?
It's been, well, yeah. I mean, we always want. I mean, my ideal plan was to have been across in Germany playing gigs during the World Cup.
Yep.
That's what we always wanted to do. But you know, with everything that's happened this year, with the Croft and moving up to Outer Hebrides and selling this place. And I've got the Internal XL and the Vigil remasters, the remixed albums, and we've got to sell them and get them out before we move. It was all too much. Yep. It was just all too much. And it's like, and
so this time watching it's going to be telly.
Watching the TV, and you know, there's a lot of my friends were saying they weren't even going to go to the stadium. They said, let's just go to the beer gardens. But like, you know, so they go to the beer gardens, watch a game, and that sounds absolutely incredible. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, I mean, I think there's always been a great relationship between Germans and Scots. You know, and you know, there's always a great respect. I think, you know, there's never going to be any hassle between German fans and Scots fans. You know, and it's just going to be all about who can drink the most, and I know who can do that because I've seen.
Even though they've got practice with their strong beers.
No, I don't look on their beers as being particularly strong.
Fantastic.
But then again, I'm just a professional.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's been wonderful watching Scotland in the qualifiers and watching us get the results in
like
and have the right, and having the attitude. I think you're right. I mean, you know, when you look at like the last World Cup, and when you look at teams like Costa Rica and teams like that, you know, they weren't the world's greatest players, but they played as a team, and I think that's where Scotland have come together. I mean, I think that's, management's done a brilliant job with that, and he's got them bonded, and they feel that they're fighting for each other, and I think you need that. I think if you're going into a tournament, but it's a long tournament, it's a very long tournament, but it's
Well, hopefully long for
yeah,
us.
yeah,
So come on, Scotland.
yeah.
Excellent, Fish. Thank you very much.
Good to see you,
Great.
Matt.
Cheers
Cheers.
to see you.